Hi guys! So today we're reading chapter 3 of Winnie-the-Pooh by Alan Milne. Let's start. I wonder what the story is going to be about today. Pooh and Piglet go hunting and nearly catch a weasel. Ooh. The piglet lived in a very grand house in the middle of the beech tree, and the beech tree was in the middle of the forest, and Piglet lived in the middle of the house. Next to his house was a piece of broken board which had Trespassers W on it. When Christopher Robin asked the piglet what it meant, he said it was his grandfather's name and had been in the family for a long time. Christopher Robin said you couldn't be called Trespassers W, and Piglet said yes, you could because his grandfather was, and it was short for Trespassers Will, which was for short for Trespassers William. And his grandfather had two names in case he lost one. Trespassers after an uncle and William after Trespassers. I've got two names, said Christopher Robin carelessly. Well, there you are. That proves it, said Piglet. So, here you can see Piglet, and here's the sign. One fine winter's day when Piglet was brushing away the snow in front of his house, he happened to look up, and there was Winnie-the-Pooh. Pooh was walking round and round in a circle thinking of something else, and when Piglet called to him, he just went walking on. Hello, said Piglet. What are you doing? Hunting, said Pooh. Hunting what? Tracking something, said Winnie-the-Pooh very mysteriously. Tracking what? Said Piglet, coming closer. That's just what I asked myself. I asked myself, what? What do you think it will answer? I shall have to wait until I catch up with it, said Winnie-the-Pooh. Now look there, he pointed to the ground in front of him. What do you see there? Tracks, said Piglet. Paw marks. He gave a little squeak of excitement. Oh, Pooh! Do you think it's a weasel? It may be, said Pooh. Sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. You never can tell with paw marks. Okay, so this is Pooh looking, and there they are walking to look after them. And this is Piglet, this is Pooh. Through the forest. With these few words, he went on tracking, and Piglet, after watching him for a minute or two, ran after him. Winnie-the-Pooh had come to a sudden stop and was bending over the tracks in a puzzled sort of way. What's the matter? Asked Piglet. It's a very funny thing, said Bear. But there seem to be two animals now. This, whatever it was, has been joined by another, whatever it is, and the two of them are now producing in company. Would you mind coming with me, Piglet, in case they turned out to be hostile animals? Piglet scratched his ear in a nice sort of way and said that he had nothing to do until Friday and would be delighted to come in case it really was a weasel. You mean in case it really was two weasels, said Winnie-the-Pooh, and Piglet said that anyhow he had nothing to do until Friday. So off they went together. There was a small spiny of large trees just here, and it seemed as if two woozles, if that is what they were, had been going round the spiny so round the spinny went Pooh and Piglet after them. Piglet passing the time by telling Pooh what his grandfather Trespasses W had done to remove stiffness after tracking, and how his grandfather Tresses W had suffered in his later years from shortness of breath and other matters of interest, and Pooh wondering what grandfather was like, if perhaps this was two grandfathers they were after now, and if so, whether he would be allowed to take one home and keep it, and what Christopher Robin would say. And still the tracks went on in front of them. Suddenly Winnie-the-Pooh stopped and pointed excitedly in front of him. "Look!" "What?" said Piglet with a jump. And then, to show that he hadn't been frightened, he jumped up one and down once or twice in an exciting sort of way. "The tracks," said Pooh. "A third animal has joined the other two." Okay, so this is Piglet jumping, and this is Pooh looking mysteriously, saying that a third animal has joined the other two. That's what he said. Pooh cried. "Pooh!" cried Piglet. "Do you think it is another woozle?" "No," said Pooh, "because it makes different marks. It is either two woozles and one, as it might be Whizzle or two, as it might be Whizzles and one, if it's so, Woozle. Let us continue to follow them." So on they went, feeling just a little anxious now in case the three animals in front of them were hostile intent, and Piglet wished very much that his grandfather T.W. were there instead of elsewhere. Christopher Robin suddenly, but quite accidentally, and only because he liked Christopher Robin so much, and then all of a sudden Winnie-the-Pooh stopped again and licked the tip of his nose in a cooing manner, for he was feeling more hot and anxious than ever in his life before. There were 4 animals in front of them. Oh my gosh. "Do you see, Piglet? Look at their marks. 3 as it were woozles and 1 as it was Whizzle. And other woozle has joined them." And so it seemed to be that there were the tracks crossing over each other here, getting muddled up with each other there, but quite plainly ever now and then the tracks of 4 sets of paws. "I think," said Piglet when he had licked the tip of his nose too and found that it brought very little comfort, "I think that I just have remembered something. I have just remembered something I forgot to do yesterday, and it shouldn't be done tomorrow. So I suppose I really ought to go back and do it now." "Well, do it this afternoon, and I'll come with you," said Pooh. "It isn't the sort of thing you can do in the afternoon," said Piglet quickly. "It is very particularly morning thing that has to be done in the morning, and if possible between the hours—" "What would you say the time was?" "About 12, said Winnie-the-Pooh, looking at the sun. "Between, as I was saying, the hours of 12 and 12:05. So really, dear old Pooh Bear, if you'll excuse me—" "What's that?" Pooh looked up in the sky, and then he has heard. So this is Pooh looking down, and this is Piglet looking down at the paw marks. The whistle thing again, he looked up into the branches of a big oak tree, and then he saw a friend of his, Christopher Robin, he said. Ah, then you'll be all right, said Piglet. You'll be quite safe with him. Goodbye. And he trotted off home as quickly as he could, very glad to be out of all danger again. Christopher Robin came down the tree. Silly old bear, what were you doing? First you went round the spiny twice by yourself, and then Piglet ran after you, and then you went round again together. And then you were just going around the fourth time. Wait a moment, said Winnie-the-Pooh, holding his up paw. He sat down and thought, in the most thoughtful way he could think. Laid his paw into the tracks and then scratched his nose. Yes, said Winnie-the-Pooh. I see now. I've been foolish and deluded, said he. And I am a bear of no brain at all. You're the best bear in the whole world, said Christopher Robin soothingly. Am I? Said Pooh hopefully, and then he brightened up suddenly. Anyhow, he said, it's nearly luncheon time, so he went off for it. So this was chapter 3 today. Tomorrow we're going to read chapter 4, in which Eeyore loses a tail and Pooh finds one. I wonder what's going to be about. So we're going to read it tomorrow. So see you soon. Bye.